Hey everybody, welcome to another episode. I'm Matt.
I'm Mandy.
And this is another episode. Thank you guys so much for joining us again as we dip back into the movies that shaped our childhood. And today, Mandy, what are we talking about?
Today we are talking about the 1994 Jim Classic Carrey, Jim Carrey classic, Ace Ventura: Pet Detective.
Perfect. Yeah, way to kick us off. Professionally.
Yeah, I figure that's about how it's going to be for the rest of the night. I'm guessing.
Yep, Jim Classy Carrey movie.
That's what he goes by, Jim Classic Carrey. Because when I think of Jim Carrey, I think of classic.
Well, how could you not, really, when he's got movies like this under his belt?
Yeah, especially when he talks out his butthole like that. For sure. It's just pure class to me.
Yeah, pretty excited about getting into that, for sure. I bet that's the first time anyone's ever said they're pretty excited about getting into Jim Carrey's. Well, maybe not. I don't know. You do you, man, out there. But we always ask everyone who's listening in, if you've never found a reason to watch Ace Ventura, please take a moment to go find it. It's currently streaming right now on Netflix, correct? Yeah, it's on Netflix.
Yes.
Yeah. So you can go watch it there. And then once you're finished up with that, you can come back to us and join us for the conversation. And you're back. All right. It's the greatest of all time. And now that everyone's up to speed on Ace Ventura, we can get started with this. And of course, Mandy and I don't like to talk about these things alone. We try to bring in someone else to help us along because, otherwise it'd just be Mandy and I arguing about, everything. So we need someone to take sides. And today we're very excited to have as a returning guest to the show, we have, Wayland area or Grand Rapids-ish area comedian. Mr. Brandon Alberda is with us, everybody.
Hey, guys.
Welcome back.
Pause for
applause. Hey, good to be back.
Pause for applause.
It's like number 2.5.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Made a brief appearance on the 100th episode on the Thank Fest. That was the 100th episode that I have still not edited to produce out onto the YouTube. So we're still working on that. A lot of
it figures because I feel like that's the only one that we've recorded where I looked like decent.
Right.
Like I knew we were gonna see a lot of people, so I really made an effort, and so that's the only one that I can't like. I would tell people like, hey, go watch this because I looked good at that one, but whatever.
All right. And what other movie did we have you on for?
Mrs. Doubtfire.
Mrs. Doubtfire.
Oh
that's
yeah,
right.
we've given you a couple good ones. I feel like.
Yeah, look at that. Well, we don't know yet. Maybe. And of course, Brandon, we always ask before we get started, how long had it been since you watched Ace Ventura before we made you watch it for the podcast?
Probably about 16 years ago.
Okay.
15 or 16 years ago. Yeah.
For sure. All right. And what was your viewing experience then? Was it?
It was the greatest of all time.
Okay. All right.
I was a huge Jim Carrey fan growing up. So.
Very good.
Yeah.
All right. And then Mandy, how long had it been for you?
The first one probably about 10 years, but I have seen the second one more recently.
Sure.
Yeah.
I certainly got them confused as far as what was going to happen. Like I was was waiting for certain things to happen in this movie that I was like, oh, that must be the second one. I get it now.
I do. How long has it been since you've seen it?
This was another one that was like taped off of Cinemax when I was a kid. We had like the VHS tape with the white label and it was written on the side.
Yes.
And so we used to watch it a lot, but it's been, 20 years probably since I've seen this movie like all the way through. So it was a bit, but yeah, I definitely watched the shit out of this movie when I was a kid. Like this was.
There was a time in my life when I was a kid that I watched this movie every single night to fall asleep to. Like, I'm talking about like for like over 100 days, like probably for almost an entire school year. Nice. I had a TV in my room that had a VCR, and
it was a combo.
It was like a combo. Yeah, it actually came with the house when we moved in. It was like stuck in one of the other rooms, like in the wall, where some guy died. He was hospitalized in there or something.
Sweet.
And right. Well,
haunted combo TV.
Right.
So I had like the shitty room in the house. So my parents were like, "Oh, the least we can do is give her this like old jacked up TV that only worked for VHS tapes." But I did the same thing. I recorded Ace Ventura off of Cinemax, and I just left it in the VCR. And I'd literally like get ready for bed, and I'd like turn my TV on, and it would just be him in the beginning, like, got a package, people, just running around. And so when it started when I started watching it, I was like, oh my gosh, totally brought me back.
Very good. Very good.
So
yeah.
little story for you.
For sure.
You're welcome.
Okay. So basically, this is a movie about a pet detective. Have we all seen the second one as well?
It's
Yes.
been about as long since I've seen it. But
How about this? Did you guys see the Ace Ventura Pet Detective Jr.
No.
that was
No.
released in like 2017 or something?
No.
Have
No.
any of you seen the cartoon?
Nope.
Mhm.
Ace Ventura cartoon.
Yes.
That came flooding back to me while I was doing a little Google search on the cast of the movie.
Yeah.
And it brought up clips of the
cartoon.
and then I listened to the theme song of the cartoon, and I was like, this is insane. Like, there was no
I
reason that
know.
this exists. This is stupid.
But did you watch it?
I must have. Yeah, I remember it. Like, I remember him being like a human. He's basically a human cartoon as it is.
I was just thinking that.
Right.
Like his cartoon might have had a little bit bigger hair.
Yeah, yeah.
But that was it. Like the rest of him looked exactly. Well, actually, Jim Carrey, when he studied for the role or whatever, when he decided what he was going to do it as, he wanted to look like a giant bird, like a colorful tropical bird.
Okay.
So that's why he made his hair the way it is. He chose all the colors for his outfits.
And I think he succeeded. I think he succeeded.
He even moves like a bird a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So it's a pet detective. He goes on the job when a pet gets lost. This might be a sore subject for some of you guys, but have you ever had a pet get lost?
No, but I had.
Not like, my pet died or something. I'm talking like you had to like run around the neighborhood and put up posters and things.
I never
every
had
damn
that.
Day.
No, never had that.
Every day. With my last dog, with the dog that got hit by a car a couple years ago. Like before that, she was like, she was so determined to get out. Yeah. I mean, once you have a kid that's old enough to like reach up and open a doorknob, like those dogs will run their ass over and like face plant them in order just to get like 2 seconds of freedom.
For sure. Yeah.
So yeah, I actually was at risk of getting a dog at large charge because she had gotten out so much.
Oh, nice.
But luckily I worked for the court at the time. And so animal control and the court both were like county funded. And the last, like I would have gotten charged. They were like, this is like the last time, like, even though we told you last time, this is the last time.
Yeah. Your dog got 3 strikes and you're still okay. Sort of thing.
And that shit's like a misdemeanor. Like you can get, I mean, I worked for the court. So I would have had to like go in front of a judge that I like worked with. And I'm like, my fucking dog jumps an 8-foot fence. I don't know what you want me to do.
Sure.
And then you just say, all right, see you Monday.
Yeah, exactly. Right. What about you, Matt?
Take out of my paycheck. No.
Hey, has your little puppy ever ran away, or is it too small?
No. We did have when we had our previous dog, when we had Melvin. He did escape, but he ran around the neighborhood, and all we had to do was drive. At the time, my wife was driving a van, and all we had to do was drive around the neighborhood with the van door open. And then once it saw the van and the door open, it just ran inside. Like it was so stupid. It was like, hey, it's time to go for a ride, even though I'm like free. I've escaped and I'm on the run. It's just like, yeah, heck yeah, we get to go for a ride today. So
that is awesome.
That happened 1 or 2 times, but nothing where we had to like canvass the neighborhood or try to find it.
Remember that one time that Melvin ate that whole big plate full of raw chicken?
I do. Yeah, we had a Beagle Chihuahua mix, who was more on the side of the Beagle or of the Chihuahua as far as the size was concerned.
Yeah.
It was tan. It looked like a tiny tan Beagle. It had floppy ears and everything. And we had gone outside. We were preparing chicken to be grilled, so we had a plate filled with raw chicken breasts, and left to go outside to prep the grill. Came back inside, and the plate was empty. Was completely empty.
Oh my gosh!
And it had to have been, I don't know. It had to have been like 4 or 5 pounds of raw chicken, like just unacceptable amounts of chicken.
That is so much meat.
We legit thought the dog was going to die. Like we thought it gorged itself enough that it would just lay there and die.
I mean, the dog practically weighed 4 or 5 pounds.
I know, it was unbelievable. Like it had to have like slid each one in like
a snake.
Yeah, like it had to have slid one in over the other just to pack it in enough to get them all gone. Because it couldn't have been like, yeah, one's good. Like I can acceptably just sneak one of these, and we would have never known, honestly, if it had just taken one and hid under the table. But the fact that every piece of it was missing was unbelievable. and it just was real slow for the next few days, and he just walked around. But yeah, he was pretty happy with himself and pretty content with life. I got a feeling.
Oh my
after
gosh,
that
so
mess.
funny.
Yeah.
All right.
So let's talk about
Let's talk about Ace Ventura, Jim Carrey.
Yeah, let's talk about Jim Carrey for a second. We've covered a few, right? This movie, actually, pretty much all of the staples in this one, we've had other movies that they've. So we got Courtney Cox. We did Scream, right?
Oh yeah.
We did Liar Liar. We did
Yep.
Finkel's mom.
Yes.
Was in Tu Wong Fu.
She was.
She was the old lady in Tu Wong Fu.
Sean Young, who played Einhorn, she was in Stripes.
Stripes, yeah.
And even his friend that does the red or the white.
Yeah.
His name.
His name is Rain or Shine.
Yeah, that's so crazy. In the movie, his name is Woodstock.
Yep.
He was in My Cousin Vinny.
My Cousin Vinny. For
He
sure.
was the witness that's like, what's this? He's like, dirt.
Yeah.
When he's looking at the screen.
Bushes. like 5.
When I saw that, I was like, holy shit.
And
so, yeah.
I've been talking up the movie The War with Kevin Costner a lot lately.
Yes.
He's in that movie. He is the father of the Lipnickies, which is the other family who they get in a fight with. And they have their little war, like the kids all fight with each other. So, yeah, crazy. Just keeps looping back around. We're about to hit movies where there's no one new to talk about. Like we've already talked about every single person there.
I don't know. This movie had Tone Loc and Dan Marino in it. I'm pretty sure we're never going to run across them again.
That's the two circles that will not converge elsewhere. I got a feeling.
They're like, what's going to make this movie a big hit? We have to get Tone Loc.
For sure.
He has to do the theme song to the very end of the movie. Like,
yeah.
So
Brandon,
bad.
Brandon, what's did we talk to you about your hit Jim Carrey movie? What's your
that's tough. Probably Dumb and Dumber.
Okay. That's a banger.
Yeah, my best friend and I were pretty much Harry and Lloyd growing up.
Nice. Yeah.
So we related well with that movie.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. So this is about a pet detective who normally gets hired to find small pets and other things, and in this movie, he gets hired to find the dolphin Snowflake.
Yeah, Snowflake.
The dolphin that is the mascot for the Miami Dolphins. And so hilarity ensues, I guess. I don't know where we're at with this, but
hilarity and just things to the extreme. Like,
yeah.
It was awesome at the time, and we could probably talk about I still enjoyed watching it, and I was surprised at how much I still enjoyed it, because I thought for sure I had matured and thought it was going to be stupid as shit.
For sure, yeah.
I did not. I still loved it. I think there were a couple things that I was like, pretty much every tagline he has is so overdone and ridiculous.
I didn't even pull any of those clips, honestly. I was like, I could go through and be the somebody stop me, or the whatever, the like a glove, or
somebody stop me's from The Mask.
Yeah, whatever. They're all the same. I'm sure he said that in this movie at some point.
But yeah,
and the loser constantly with the hooser thing. Oh my god. I wanted to punch the TV.
All that was already then, and it was all way overdone.
Yep.
But there were so many parts that I just absolutely loved. Like, I loved the part when he's in the apartment and he like swings the door back and forth. Like, that is probably my favorite part, when he's like, oh
yeah, when he solves Podacter's murder. Like, this movie was like a legit movie. Like, there was it really had like a whodunit sort of thing. They clearly thought out like ways for him to be a better detective than the other cops in the room.
Yeah.
And it was
which was not hard. The other cops were, and their cut downs were so bad. I just was like, I was embarrassed for them.
Do we want to hear do you want to hear the fight between Aguado and Ace at the police station, or do we want to hear him solving the crime?
Yeah, at the police station. Let's do that one.
Lassie must be missing.
Lassie must be missing.
Hey, Ventura!
Or he even sounds like he's got a pork chop stuck in his throat.
Good collars.
And
why is Ace Ventura allowed to walk around in the police precinct? He's not a cop.
Homicide,
Right.
Ventura. You gonna stop there? What?
Good question, Aguado. First, I'd establish a motive. In this case, the killer saw the size of the bug's dick and became insanely jealous.
Got him.
Zing.
Boom.
Then I'd lose 30 pounds. Park and his wife! Come on!
So awesome.
So this movie has all the trappings of being a child's movie. Like, it seems like
Yeah.
this movie would be for kids until shit like that happens.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, this is clearly not for kids.
Yeah, like when Big Boobs McGee like volunteers to take his pants off.
Yeah.
I have never seen a position like that before.
Right? And good thing they had handlebars right above him, because otherwise that would have just been a big old mess.
Yeah.
Would you like for me to take your pants off instead?
This made me laugh.
Gee, let me think. Sure.
Jeez.
Okay, I'm laughing at this now, but it was so stupid at the time.
And it was like, it took off like quick. Like, this was like, okay, this is a fun movie. Like, a kid could probably get away with watching this. And
Right.
the whole like delivery scene, and he's like breaking
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
And then, and then we get old, what's his name? Tex Cobb.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
What movie was he in that I was like, hey, this is the guy from?
Yeah.
Well, I know he's in The Golden Child, but that we haven't done that movie yet. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways,
one
he's
that we had done before. Yeah.
The assholes are closer than they appear.
Yeah.
Guy.
Yep. That guy. Yeah. So I was like, this could be good for a kid, and then all of a sudden, violent
Nope.
turn to the
I
left.
still say oosha boo, oosha boo boo doo doo.
Yep.
I still like, so bad.
I do that to my 11-month-old.
I know. I know.
And then one day
Oh.
down the road, she'll watch this movie. Which, see, that's the thing. How many of these movies do you think are going to get left behind completely? Like, they'll just never. Like, my daughter is now 9, but like when she's old enough to watch like these like weird 80s and 90s smut movies about, you know what I mean? Like, they're just not. The kids are never going to watch these, right? Like, they're just going to fall by the wayside and be gone
I don't
forever.
know.
I think.
I mean, there are people that still watch old movies. There are
Well,
people that still
yeah.
listen to like classic music. I mean, it'll be somebody that
I just can't
somebody.
see a kid in like 2035 watching American Pie, like ever.
Well, that's
Yeah.
because basically, like, everything on the Disney Channel is going to be as bad as American Pie at that point. Like, I just
Yeah.
feel like there's not going to be like any censorship left.
Oh,
I mean, assuming that
Mandy's
we
took
make
a
it
turn
to 20.
to a school marm.
I mean, like,
Your sensibilities are-
if we even make it to
Sure,
2035,
that's true. We do
I'm
have to
not
make
quite
it.
sure.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
and
whether or
just
not,
the YouTube wormhole. Like, just like literally 10 minutes before I came down here, my daughter was watching YouTube, and all of a sudden my husband like stops me mid sentence, and he's like, "Kate, what are you watching?" And it was like some like cartoon version of a woman's like recollection of walking in the woods and like having like this predator behind her, and I'm just like,
neat.
what are you? How did you get to this? Like, you started out watching like LOL dolls being opened, and now, and she was like super into it. Like, I really want to find out. And I'm pretty sure the woman gets sexually assaulted. I mean, that's how it ended. I'm assuming because it was like a therapy session.
Oh, they all end. Yeah.
So that's fun, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So this movie's kind of about sports. This is right around the edge of the sports type movies that I
Yeah.
enjoy. Brandon, are you a fan of the sports talk?
I
ball?
am a fan of the sports ball.
Okay. So
Yeah.
was this was it fun for you to see people like Dan Marino? Were any of these other people actual athletes? You know?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Okay.
I really wanted the guy who, when he checks out his penis and he like
Yeah.
chases after him.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
really wanted that to be a professional football player.
Right. No, to my knowledge, Dan Marino's the only one. And
Okay.
yeah.
What are your views on Dan Marino? I don't know if we're supposed to like Dan Marino or not.
Yeah, I mean he's a legendary quarterback, but a shitty actor. So
Okay.
Oh,
All right.
there you go.
Good to
we'll
know.
just
I mean,
leave it at that.
so
I
yeah,
don't know.
I
Like,
basically
believe
knew
that
all
he
of
was.
that. So that's exciting.
I thought he did okay. Like the fact that
I mean,
when
he
was,
did
like,
fine.
Well, he was essentially doing what, an isotoner gloves commercial
Right.
when we
Yeah.
got to talk to him. So
Well, and then he's like, "Hey, Ace," and he points out the dick and balls in the back.
sure.
And then, "Hey, you got any more of that gum?" Oh my gosh, I'm so glad I thought of this. How like homophobic was this movie?
Super. I was thinking the same damn thing.
Oh my gosh. It was so like it was so crazy to me, like how just completely appalled he was that he had kissed another man. And everyone.
Right.
Yeah. They're all throwing up but I mean that does. So was that meant to show that she like slept her way, because she faked her way into the police force and within 8 years became the captain, right? Or
right.
whatever.
Lieutenant. Yeah.
So does that mean she like slept her way to the top, or he's just like a weird, like, was he doing that? I don't understand why he was doing any of that. Like, why would he blatantly just go and like clearly either make out or have sex with the entire police department?
I don't know. If it was sex, wouldn't they know that she had
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know.
I think it has to do with the fact that she wasn't successful on the football field, and so she finally made herself successful in the police realm. But then when Jim Carrey started figuring it all out, she's just like, all right, let me kiss and mac all over you so that way you get distracted by my boobs.
Well, I mean, for him, that makes sense, right? Like as a diversionary tactic. But like for the rest of the police precinct, it just doesn't make any sense. It was funny. It's like a visual gag at the time. But
I mean, maybe Finkel just liked the dudes.
I guess so. Yeah,
with a name like Finkel.
Right? Speaking of the picture of Ray Finkel, like, you know, the team picture where they show him.
Yeah.
That is her. That's Sean Young in a wig and a mustache.
Really? Okay, I wondered if that was the case.
I mean, it doesn't look like her at all.
Not at all.
It looks like just a man from like the 80s. Like,
yeah, because they do that scene where the dog's hair is like over top of the man with the mustache. Yeah. And that was
still did not
supposedly
look like her.
Yeah, no,
so yes. Yep.
Nice job with that, I guess.
Thing. I guess. I feel like that was a lot of effort that was not required because you couldn't tell at all that it was her. So.
Sure. I don't recall her being like entirely successful. She's obviously a very successful actress, but like, was she prolific at that? Like, was she making a ton of movies at this time?
Oh yes, because she was in Dune, which was super popular.
Oh, okay.
She was in Stripes. We talked about that. That was before this. I'm trying to think. There were a couple other movies. Like, I was actually just rocked by how many movies that she has made in her her career. I
just wondered if a movie like this would like do weird things to your career. You know what I mean? Like,
you'd think it would ruin everyone's career.
Yeah,
like no one should have a career after this movie.
But I mean, like, Jim Carrey's career was built off of this movie, though. Like, it became one of his like staples, and obviously it spawned a sequel, so it's probably at least moderately successful. So, which we'll get to.
Yeah, well, later. And he was on In Living Color during the time. Like, he would actually shoot this movie on the off hours of In Living Color.
Okay.
So, did you ever watch In Living Color, Adam?
No.
I mean, Brandon.
No.
Never?
No, I've never seen it.
Did you watch Saturday Night Live as a kid, or
I did.
Mad TV?
Yep, Mad TV and Saturday Night Live. Yeah.
Were you just not? Were you allowed to watch The Simpsons when you were little?
No.
Okay, no, that's fine.
No,
because
I didn't start watching The Simpsons like religiously until college.
Until yesterday.
Okay.
Until yesterday. Yeah, exactly.
So when I was
got
a
through
kid,
3 episodes.
I lived on a cul-de-sac, and my parents were like the only ones. I know, right? I was allowed to watch The Simpsons and In Living Color, and none of the other kids in my neighborhood, like even the older ones, were allowed to watch those things.
Did you have to do like a retelling of each day? Everyone gathered. I mean,
they pretty much knew I was like trash. They were just like, "Oh yeah."
No, but I mean, like, to get the scoop, right? If they want to know what's going on, you could have been like their
because they thought it was bad.
Yeah, well.
They were like, how could you watch that? That's just so bad. And I was like, well, your parents just don't like black people. And that's pretty much why you guys don't watch it, I'm guessing.
Yeah, no In Living Color for you. Yeah, I watched In Living Color a lot. I was a big fan of like his Fire Marshal Bill nonsense and things like that.
I don't even know what his name was when he had the pigtails and he was like had the bikini on and stuff. And that was hilarious.
Like the weightlifter lady. For sure. Yeah. Okay, so let's hit some more clips here. Who do we want to hear from? We can talk about. I mean, we talked about Woodstock already, so here's that.
Yeah.
Woodstock. Hey, St. Francis, how's it going?
Super, and thank you for asking. I hope you're having a lovely day.
This guy's voice is very unique. Like, it's very distinct, and I somehow triggered my assistant, my phone, like Siri.
Your Siri
yeah.
or Siri, yeah.
Weird.
Hey, Woodstock!
Hey, St. Francis, how's it going?
Super, and thank you for asking. I hope you're having a lovely day.
Do you?
Don't I?
So
What
dumb.
are you up to?
Half of this
dancing?
movie could have been removed just from like witty dialogue that was not
Yeah,
witty.
Right.
It's just references that no one that watches these kind of movies would even get.
Yeah. But apparently he knows a guy who lives in like a weird bunker who tries to take down Norwegian fishing fleets or something.
Uh-huh.
So that's exciting.
Yeah, whatevs. That's pretty cool.
For sure. Okay. So nobody saw this movie like in the theater, right? Like this was not like a big theater movie for anyone else, right?
I was
No,
too little.
I did. We were in Mr. K's class when this movie came out.
Okay.
And yeah. And do you remember Justin Klein?
Yeah.
He was okay. So I
Didn't
remember
he do karate or something? I think he
Yeah.
did like karate after school or something.
If he listens, I think he's probably normal now.
Sure.
He fell out of touch because he got a little weird. But
Okay.
I just remembered he was a tattletale. I remember that.
Right.
But before that, we were friends.
So he
and
did indeed get stitches then, right? Like that's how that
yes,
goes?
exactly. And I think that him, me, and Jesse Melvin all went to the movie theater to see it because So yeah.
Huh.
And I remember like thinking it was hilarious.
Right. Okay, let's do. Well, we've talked enough about it. Let's hear from the ass itself.
Excuse me. I'd like to ask you a few questions.
God, this is not the time, Mace. If I
I love his voice, though.
Yeah.
You or your ass.
There just needs to be a beat behind his voice all
I
the
know.
time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You just can't help but rhyme.
Hey, I can't do nothing for you on that. My hands are totally tied.
All right, that's it. Now it's my turn. 5 minutes alone.
Like
That's all
none
I
of these
need.
clips are even really worth it.
Yeah.
It's just also like thin and trite. There's no like
Yes.
substance to any of this. Like I
Right.
don't know
Well-
how a movie like this got made. Like the story is fine. Like this could have been a legit story in a movie if it weren't Jim Carrey. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. Would you know if this movie was written for Jim Carrey? Because it kind of seems like it.
I'm so glad you asked. No, it wasn't. It was
Okay.
actually written where Ace was supposed to be a complete bumbling idiot, and
Okay.
then when Jim Carrey came along, they basically like rewrote the whole thing.
Oh.
The ass talking thing happened in a meeting between him and Damon Wayans. And Damon
Okay.
Wayans had to like leave the room because he was so pissed, like he was gonna punch him in the face. Other people that were considered for the role were Judd Nelson, which is super weird.
Yeah.
Rick Moranis, and Alan Rickman, which would have been. I can't
Mr.
think of him
Papa.
as anybody. Yeah, anybody but
Yeah.
Snape. And
You see a guy
although-
walking around with like a cloak.
Although he did sound a little bit like punky
Punky.
there.
Speak to my ass.
Yeah. So they said that, he basically improvised everything and like made it a completely different story. So
Okay.
when he walks in the party, like right when he's walking back and he pushes the cello's arm and it goes, like, do you remember that part? That was like total improv. Like he just took the cello's arm and just went like that, like pushed it through the thing. And yeah, I figured they would have put a lot more information on what was improvised in
Sure.
the fun facts, but I think they just figured that everything was improvised and we can't quote the whole movie. So
Yeah. Right.
even sorry, one more thing. Even Mr. Chickadance, who was the landlord,
Yeah.
that was the landlord's name of Jim Carrey's landlord. When he was
Okay.
growing up, his apartment was owned by the Chickadance brothers.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Nice.
Reused from life.
Yeah.
All right,
Yep.
here's some football player superstitions.
You know how superstitious these players are. I've got a quarterback that puts his socks on backwards, has since high school. I've got a linebacker that has not washed his jockey strap in 2 years because he thinks flies are lucky.
Solid.
Now, I want that fish on that field Super Bowl Sunday.
Not a fish.
Find the fish or find new jobs.
Why did it have to happen now, 2 weeks before the Super Bowl?
I'll tell you who did it. It's those goddamn animal rights.
I love this guy too.
Always out there with their goddamn signs.
Yes.
Animals were born free.
Roger
Stop
Podacter.
torturing Snowflake. That damn fish lives better than they do.
Roger the
He's been in a couple movies I think we've done too.
Yeah, he was the coach in Teen Wolf.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's the one.
I don't know if he was in. I mean, he was in a ton of stuff. I don't know if he was in anything else.
Yeah. Do you guys do any superstitions? Do you suffer from any superstitious activity? Do you?
No, I mean, I used to work for the local baseball affiliate here in Grand Rapids, and there was one guy on the team when the team was winning so much, it was because he thought it was because he was wearing super tight pants.
Oh, nice.
Like, you know how Jim Carrey, like, I got my tight pants on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that song
The
played.
Jimmy
that was
Fallon tight pants show.
That was his walk-up song, and he literally wore like 2 sizes too small pants until they lost a game.
Yeah.
So it's a thing.
And then everybody was relieved, like, oh, thank God.
Did you guys ever do the?
Except for all the girls that worked at this.
Well, right.
Sure.
I mean, it depends. If he had a nice booty, which most baseball.
I mean,
players
he
do.
did. It was nice.
That's nice.
That's nice. All right then.
What about you, Mandy? Did you ever do any of those like lift your feet when you go over the railroad tracks or hold your breath past a cemetery? Any of that nonsense?
I mean, yeah, I did that stuff when I was a kid, but
Yeah. None of it hung on.
No, I mean, no, not really. I used to, when I would play cards and stuff, especially like as a teenager, I wouldn't like look at my cards until I got them all. Like,
Yeah.
you wouldn't pick, like if you got 7, like, because that was
Sure.
just, I was like, if I look at one of them first, I'm going to lose this hand or whatever. I
Yeah,
don't know.
you're gonna like
So
will yourself
stupid.
away from getting what you wanted. Yeah.
Yes, but like when you ask about superstition, I always think of like the old people on like Oxygen at the casino that just keep like knocking on the screen in weird
Sure.
spots.
They like touch the corners of the screen before they do whatever. Yeah. I saw a picture. I saw a little video the other day of a person at a casino with a face mask on, and they were smoking out of the side of the face mask.
Awesome.
Like they put the cigarette in, lit it, and then drew in from. I don't even think it was in their mouth. I think they just used the face mask area as like a weird cigarette bong thing, and then when they exhaled, they just lifted it off of their face and exhaled up like into the universe, like just. But I guess they're out there doing it, man, living the dream.
I mean, they're not worried about cancer, but they're worried about COVID.
They're wearing that mask, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, the COVID will kill you in like a week or whatever. That.
No judgment. The only reason I'm not smoking my e-cig right now is because I lost it 5 minutes before I came downstairs, and that's why I couldn't start early.
Really jonesing.
And
yeah.
I can tell you right now, my husband who claimed like I was like, please look for it and then just bring it down for me. And he's like, yeah, okay. And then like the second I got downstairs, I know that motherfucker just sat down. I'm like, ugh, it's killing me.
But none for you, Brandon. Just the ones the tight pants show you witnessed.
I mean, being a theater guy, you don't walk under ladders, and you always say break a leg. You don't say good luck.
For sure. You never call it Macbeth or whatever.
Right. Yes.
I was
even now, I still hold my breath when I go past a cemetery.
Sure. Yeah.
You never know.
Yep.
If I was driving and I was your wife, I would just stop.
Yeah.
Yeah. You get like immunity if it's below a certain mile per hour, I think.
Yeah.
What was I just gonna say? Damn it! What did you say?
I don't know.
Oh, Macbeth.
Sorry. Go ahead.
I was in a play called Macbeth Did It, and so it was funny because you're not supposed to say Macbeth during a performance of Macbeth, but because it was not that, it was like a play within a play within a. It was weird, but yeah, that just reminded me of that.
Nice.
One of the things too was when we were talking about the original writing is for a long time Ace's character was going to be a woman named Alice, and they were really hoping to get Whoopi Goldberg to play her. So yeah,
Alice.
I mean, this movie would have been like just 150 fucking different ways. Like there's no.
But I mean, as much as I enjoy Jim Carrey, this is my least common denominator of like Jim Carrey stuff. Like I don't prefer this version of Jim Carrey. I think this movie would have been 1,000% better with it being anyone else. But
yeah,
like I said, the bones of this movie are fun. Like it's a decent premise, and it could have worked out, I think, with anyone else. But I'm just not having it with him. So
what did you think about Courtney Cox? Did you like her as Melissa?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, more so than I would have thought. Like I don't care for her on Friends, and that's really my only other. It's either Friends, Scream, or this movie, I guess.
Yeah.
And I hated her in Scream, but you were kind of supposed to.
Right.
And in Friends, she was just too much. Like,
Neurotic.
she was just
Yeah.
too spazzy.
Do you think
Um,
she's pretty?
I don't know.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
I know. So much work.
So
Sure.
much, yeah. No, but back then and like during Friends and stuff, I thought she was nice.
Which
to
one of
look
the
at.
Friends were you? A Phoebe,
Rachel.
Rachel, or
Or
whatever her name
Monica.
was? That's the one, Monica.
Realistically, probably a Monica.
Okay.
Like I would always shoot for a Rachel. I mean, I married a Rachel, but
Nice cover.
yeah, okay, good. Whew. But the Phoebe is just scares me.
Yeah. I would
Like-
probably gravitate toward a Phoebe, even though
Right.
it's just not. It's bad news all over the place.
Shoot for a Rachel, end up with a Phoebe.
Okay, this is what is so bullshit about this whole conversation. I love that it's even went in this direction. Okay, you guys got the choice between those three, like between Ross, Chandler, and Joey. Like you have so much like bull crap to deal with, like for every single one of them.
Yeah, right. Like they're all the wrong choice for several different reasons.
Like,
yeah.
I mean, Ross obviously has like all the best, in my opinion, has all the best lines. But he like, and they just all went through phases where they were all so super hard to even bear.
Right.
Right.
I don't know. Joey, I guess he's
Kind
the
of a-
cutest.
Kind of a Magoo. Sorry, wrong
Kind of
Jim Carrey movie.
Yeah.
Okay, we're getting close to the end of this segment here, so let's go ahead and hit the frick. I forgot to add the theme song.
It's
Hold on.
fine.
We're
We
gonna
can
get
sing
it. We're doing it. We're gonna get it. It's gonna
Well,
happen.
just while you're looking for that, Courtney
Uh-huh.
Cox said during her sex scene that things were so crazy because there were so many animals in the room.
Nice.
And they were constantly fighting and biting each other, so they had to literally
What were the
chain
animals doing? Come on. Sorry.
Right?
Yeah.
So like they had to like chain all of the animals like in their positions because they were like a squirrel was like biting the penguin,
I just
and like it
imagine
was just
they just put them on those little mouse trap, like the glue mouse traps. They just gotta stick a parrot onto a glue.
I mean, just get like taxidermized animals.
There you
Like,
go.
I
Just
know.
let them sit there and have them stare at you while you're.
I know, but they're all supposed to be like all excited, jumping around.
Yeah.
I don't know.
As they are when anything around them starts to fuck, I guess.
I have a hard enough time if just my dog or cat is in the room, let alone when there's
Sure.
like an entire fucking safari.
Yeah, like a harem of wild beasts.
Come to me, my jungle friends.
Yeah, we're like Mr. Popper's Penguins light here, right? Is it, so a lot of his movies seem to have stemmed from the characters in like Liar Liar when he does the whole scene where he like solves that murder. I'm like, that's exactly him in Liar Liar when he finally or
in
like
the
when he's
courtroom.
either in the courtroom or the speech, the rolling down the river.
Yeah.
You were the victim speech, and then we just have like the barrage, like all of the animals around him. Didn't he end up doing like that Mr. Popper's Penguins type movie and a bunch of
He did.
weird shit?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know, but anyhow, before we get too late into this, here we go. Do it. There it is. I was like, do it. We have 1 minute.
Do it.
Chop this synopsis. Chop this synopsis.
All right, it is time for us to play a little game called Chop This Synopsis. For this, we like to ask our guest to take the film Ace Ventura and reduce it down, chop that synopsis down to 10 words or less. So we need you to describe the film in 10 words or less. You're going to have the break to figure that out, and then we'll get that back when we come back. We'll hit that from you. Most of those words. Most of those words were in the order that I meant to put them in.
Oh my god, that was so horrible.
That was great.
And we'll get that back from you, and hopefully I'll finish off the stroke I'm having during the break. We'll be right back after these messages. So this is pretty good for our first podcast, right? This is pretty good for
It's still recording. I don't know if you mean
yeah,
for
no,
it
I
to
know.
be. Oh, okay.
This is pretty good for our very first podcast we've ever done, right?
Jamie, I need you to keep the dogs quiet. I'm recording a commercial for the Elemental podcast, so can you keep them quiet during this recording of my commercial for the Elemental podcast? I mean, I know the dogs bark a whole lot when we actually record the podcast on Mondays and Thursdays and during the Patreon on Saturdays. But during the commercial, we need the recording to be dog bark free. Can you do that for me, Jamie? Can you keep the dogs quiet during the recording of this commercial for the Elemental podcast that people can listen to every Monday and Thursday and the Patreon on Saturday? Can you do that for me, Jamie? Thanks, Jamie. Appreciate it.
Chop this synopsis.
And we're back. All right. Go do what all those ads said. It's likely just some podcast commercials or whatever. Ads, commercials, whatever the kids are talking about now. Go listen to those because they are cool people and they also promote us. So go help them out. Give them some likes, give them some follows, all that good stuff. Now, it is time for the rousing conclusion of Chop This Synopsis. So please, Brandon, if you would, regale us with your 10-word or less synopsis of Ace Ventura.
Yeah, go ahead, Adam.
All right, sounds good.
I wanted to apologize on the air for calling you Adam earlier.
Shut your mouth, Martha. Or wait.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
It'd be something that starts with an N, right? Because it's the next letter. So never mind.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right.
No.
Outlandish pet lover, stolen dolphin, dude looks like a lady.
Oh my gosh, that's so fun!
There you go. Yeah.
And they all sound like famous songs. Just
right.
It's just or even like a band, like. And up next, outlandish pet lover.
Now welcome to the stage.
Yeah.
Outlandish pet lover.
Isn't it? Oh, I was going to say, this has no bearing to almost anybody, but if you've been watching the YouTube videos or just know me as a person, you'll notice that I drink a lot of bottles of water. And Mandy has outed me on the podcast prior. We don't recycle in this house. We've started recycling. We now have a recycle bin, and we're doing that now. So
congratulations!
You're
not a horrible person anymore.
Right, I adulted some stuff. It just sort of snowballs, you know. Like you forget how to be like a productive human. Like one day you like open the door and a bunch of trash like blows out, and then you're just like, meh. Somebody will get it or whatever. And then like the next day you're driving down the road and you just throw like full bags of like fast food out the window just because you know they pay like, convicts to take care of those.
God, what's after that? Thumping baby seals? Like this is horrible. I hate this whole story.
But now I'm now I'm here with the recycle
I'm proud of
bin
you
outside of my house. So yeah. All right.
That's amazing.
Nice job,
guys,
man.
We did it.
And I hope that you're an inspiration to all those other assholes that aren't recycling.
I like to imagine that the recycling doesn't just go to the same place that the garbage goes to and get folded in with the rest of the trash, but you know, I assume I'm paying extra for something, so we'll see how it goes.
You are.
We will no longer have that floating Waterworld plastic island to set up shop on.
Yeah, that might actually be what's going to save us. So who knows? Maybe I'm the asshole.
Yeah. How dare you not add to our landmass when we add it later on?
And this the story I was telling you guys before we got on, like my husband finally started helping me look for my e-cig during the break, and I was being kind of a jerk about it because he didn't look for it, and he's like, you told me I didn't have to keep looking, but like I said that, but you know, you love me, you should have kept looking, or but whatever.
Right.
So he reached into the couch and he cut himself. Like there must have been like a nail sticking out of like, so yeah, he's upstairs bleeding, and the only Band-Aids we had were JoJo Siwa Band-Aids. So he's like having a hard time right now, and I can't find my e-cig. So when we wrap this up, it's gonna be bad news bears.
A lot of distress going on in the house there.
Yeah.
Have you checked on the kid lately? I mean, who knows what's going on?
she probably found that video again, and now she's gonna be afraid to walk alone on the street.
Right, for sure.
No, wouldn't it be funny if she came out and she's like, well, she shouldn't have dressed like such a whore.
Yes.
I would be like so disappointed. I would take her to the orphanage or something.
Yeah, who's the terrible person now? All I did was throw some trash out a window. Throwing a kid away.
that spiraled quickly, didn't it?
It really jumped a couple of steps. All right, let's do, since we talked about it a bunch, let's do the solving the murder scene here.
Oh, there is just one more thing, Lieutenant. This woman is Roger Podacter's neighbor. She lives across the hall. She said she heard.
I just want to see him doing this all the time, like the whole movie.
The ranting.
Yeah, or just being like incredibly smart compared to these idiot cops.
This door. Yeah, I'm sure. What's the point, Ventura?
Gotta hate her.
Only this.
I wasn't gonna leave this all in. I was gonna cut some of it out, but
it's perfect.
So good.
Double pane soundproof glass. There's no way that neighbor could have heard Pedactor scream on the way down with that door shut. The scream she heard came from inside this apartment before he was thrown over the balcony, and the murderer closed the door before he left. Yes! Yes! Oh,
overactor.
feel that, buddy? Yeah.
So professional with that hip thrust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel, yeah.
This house is clear.
I have been in meetings with judges where I wanted to react that way when I got proven right.
Yeah.
I was
love
like,
it.
can you feel that, buddy?
All right. Let's see. What else can we talk about for this damn movie?
Well, Adam, did you have a favorite? Adam,
Stop
Jesus
it,
Christ.
Mandy.
Oh
don't
my
mute.
gosh.
going.
Kill
I'm
me,
muting your
Brandon.
microphone right now. You're muted.
Brandon, don't mute me.
His name's on the
Brandon.
screen. Look at
I
that.
know.
It is.
I think I'm dyslexic because your last name starts with an A. So, like, for some reason, I don't know why I keep saying Adam. I suck so bad because Brandon, you are my friend. Anyway,
Apparently
Brandon.
not.
I know.
Just kidding.
God, you're making me feel even worse.
If you had just done it, if
It's
you just
worse
done it the one time and let it gracefully pass by, I could have almost edited it out and no one would have known. But now,
No,
It's all right. I'm
no.
not as mad as you. I did send an email once, and I got a return email with the name. Thanks for contacting me, Brenda.
nice.
Oh, there you go.
So you're at least sticking with the same gender, so we're good.
Exactly. Yeah, right. I don't want you puking because
I know.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Okay. So, anyways, Brandon.
Yeah, that would have been really
did you-
fitting for this movie. Yeah.
Did you have a favorite part?
Brandon
or
is
a part
Brenda.
that,
Brenda is Brandon.
Yeah. I think honestly, probably one of my favorite parts was him just basically pointing the finger in the cop's face about the murder that we just talked about. Like,
Yeah.
he just this guy who they berate all the time for how he looks and what he does, and all of a sudden he's just giving a big old middle finger to the face. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's nice that the little guy can finally come out on top a little bit and just say, suck it.
Yeah.
Yeah. A little comeuppance. Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you a fan of like any of like when he was pretending to be on Star Trek or like any of that stuff? Like,
No, not really.
yeah, me either.
No.
Okay.
Of those like outlandish scenes that were just sort of put in for effect, when he's sneaking into the back room of that, of the mansion there when he has to, and he jumps the railing, scurries down the railing, and then jumps back over the railing for no reason. I love it. That made me laugh. That's one of the times in this movie I laughed out loud watching this by myself.
Yeah.
I knew I remembered it was coming. Like as he leaped over the fence, I was like, "Oh, he's gonna jump right back over. It's gonna be my favorite day." And there it was.
I also like toward the end when he's in the boat and he gets the fan and he blows himself like 5 feet in front of him and then hops out.
Yeah. Like he had that fan in his pocket just in case, and it
so great.
Yeah, it came in super handy.
One of the parts that made me laugh, like that I knew was coming, and I always laugh at it, is when he keeps putting the pieces of gum and he's like looking, and then she walks out and he's like, "Your gun is sticking into my hip." It's when he goes, "Oh God!" Like that part, like he is so like I just remember I laughed again at that part. I'm trying to think of what else. But do you think that he was like quieting his voice when he was shutting the door and then making it louder again? Because I feel like that would have been really difficult to do.
I don't know.
I think probably to some degree.
Yeah.
But I think that they would have had it enough that it would dampen the sound anyway.
Sure.
Gotcha.
And obviously they can do all that stuff like ADR after anyway. They can edit that stuff out. But I also laughed when Mrs. Finkel was talking about Dan Marino.
Yeah.
Like he should I'll just play it here.
They ain't coming home.
And it's the look on her face.
Yeah.
But your wife
She's
said
just
you
in the
expect
background.
them
Dun, 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 dun.
She expects them home.
Okay,
in a minute.
this guy looks like he's
The
dead.
engine's running.
Yeah.
But, there's nobody behind the wheel. I mean, 8 years ago, our son escaped from Shady Acres Mental Hospital in Tampa. And they're still bugging us to pick up his stuff.
It was all that Dan Marino's fault. Everyone knows that.
Love it.
If he had
Everybody
held the
knows
ball
that.
laces out like he's supposed to, Ray would never have missed that kick. Dan Marino should die of gonorrhea and rot in hell.
Would you like a cookie? Little footballs.
What do you know?
Oh my gosh. Oh, sorry.
Laces out.
Laces out.
So we didn't even talk about yet, like probably like a part that I just like completely slipped my mind, but when he goes to Shady Acres,
yes,
and he's like halftime, and like all the stuff that he does, like
smashing his face on that bench.
Oh my gosh! Like let's do that in instant replay. Like that whole thing was.
I'm ready to go in, Coach. Just
Yes.
give me a chance.
Yes.
I know there's a lot riding on it,
I
but
know
it's
this
all
whole thing by heart.
psychological. Just got to stay in a positive frame of mind. I'm gonna execute a button hook pattern super slow mo.
Oh, I love how you kept this in.
I do. I love it. I love it. Anyone who's listening right now who's seen this movie in the last decade can see this happening in their head right now.
Yep.
I mean, I love how he bounces off the shoulder.
Yeah. Right there. This is the worst podcast content that's ever happened.
Oh, it's awesome.
I wonder how many takes it took for them to be like, "That's the one we need." To
How could they not just freaking be dying laughing like that whole time?
Right.
Oh, so awesome.
I used to be in an improv group, and we used to do a game called Remote Control, and that was one of my favorite games where you would run a scene, and then somebody, like, we'd get an audience member to come up and participate with us, and they would have a remote control. We'd give them like a remote, and they would be able to whatever, but they just have to say out loud, like play or pause or rewind or whatever. And when they would rewind, we would have to do that as best as we could, you know?
Yeah.
We'd have to try to redo dialogue and movements backwards, and it was my favorite game. I loved playing that game.
That's awesome.
Or they'd like skip ahead, you know, you could skip ahead a chapter and it would be totally not in, like, nothing that was involved in the scene previously. And we'd
That
have
is
to, like,
awesome.
fill in gaps and stuff. It was great. It was a good time. I really enjoyed doing that stuff. I don't know why I stopped. I mean, I know why I stopped, but I don't know
go
why
back.
I never pursued it any further than that. But
I
improv
mean,
is
it's
fun.
definitely it's
awful
hard.
to watch. Bad improv
No.
is really terrible to watch. But
I saw your improv. I thought you guys were good.
yeah, I mean, I thought we were too. But I'm saying bad improv is hard to watch, but it's a lot of fun to do. You know. But I don't know. All right.
Yeah.
Should we do budget?
We should.
Or-
Yes.
yeah.
And before we do that, let's get back over to this thing and jump to. God dang it! All right, here we go.
Box office theme song.
All that lead up just.
Oh, it's really good that you got it for all of that.
Uh-huh.
Box
All
office
right.
theme song.
There we go.
All right, Brandon. How much do you think that it cost to make this movie?
94. I'm gonna say 97 million.
97 a million.
A million.
I'm gonna say this movie cost a solid like 29, 30 million, somewhere in that area. We'll say.
Okay. All right. You guys way overbid for
Okay.
it was 15 million.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
So Liar Liar I think came out just after this,
Okay.
if I'm not mistaken. Weren't they the recording?
I don't recall. This is 94. It had to have been. Yeah, it had to
Yeah,
have
because
been.
I think that they paid him $25 million to be in Liar Liar, if I
Yeah.
remember correctly.
So
And
which it was off
because-
of this movie, right? Like off of the
Yes.
success of this bullshit movie.
Correct. Whoever was like,
I
oh my
can't
gosh.
help it. I can't say that this movie's good. It's okay. It's very okay. Is what it is.
Well, I think about like the actors and actresses that have just played like the most horrific parts that they things that they had to like change their appearance, like in their health to be able to like be the perfect person.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he's getting paid $25 million to do a movie because of this. Like that is such a kick in the balls, like huge.
He did have
because
a pretty
because someone literally just said, "We need that guy."
Yeah, sure. Yeah. He does a pretty sweet Sean Connery impression in this movie too, though. So I was pretty stoked about that. But I didn't pull the clip or anything. But.
All right. So how much do you think that the movie has made worldwide gross? Just the movie, not the franchise.
Okay. Well, it did get a sequel.
Yeah, it spawned a sequel
there was something
and a
there.
cartoon
And a cartoon.
and a prequel.
Oh man. I'm gonna say 75.
Okay.
I'm gonna say you said it was 15 to make.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm gonna say this movie's got to be at least. I'm gonna say it's over where Brandon was at. So I'm gonna go with like 100.
Okay.
Mils.
Yeah, that was good. It was 107.
Oh shit!
Nice.
Hey, there
So
you go.
yeah, that was very close. Yeah.
Very good. Yeah, I mean, it's got to. When you make that kind of money, you have to push for a sequel. And I don't recall. It's been forever since I've seen the sequel, but I feel like the sequel was better. And I don't.
Oh
know
my
why.
gosh, because they had so much stuff. Like they
And
had.
I just remember like the Bumblebee tuna.
Yes,
and I remember
the
him-
Monopoly guy, like
Yes.
the Monopoly guy when he punches him out,
And he's climbing
And-
out of that rhinoceros's ass.
Yes!
Like just,
and when he gets shot in the leg, and he's like, "Oh,
yeah,
oh,"
both sides.
like,
Yeah, so good.
oh,
Love it.
it's so
We
amazing.
should have done that movie, guys.
Well,
What the hell were
it's
we
funny-
thinking?
It's funny because this last weekend we took my daughter tubing, and my sister was like, and my daughter was like trying to make well, it's not behind a pontoon. Our pontoon is slow.
Everything you say, I say is a brag. Calm down.
Well, the pontoon was slow, so my daughter was trying to make it more challenging by like bouncing around, and she looked like Ace Ventura when he's in the Jeep pretending like there's a bunch of bumps all over the place. Like, anyway,
that's
sorry.
funny.
Okay, so we can do ages unless you have more clips to do. I'm out of fun facts.
I'm pretty close to being out of clips, other than like the ones that, yeah. So it's fine. We'll just do ages. This game's called How Old Are You?
Yeah.
30.
All right.
There you go.
Oh,
Nailed
you
it.
win.
Moving on.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Okay, so how old do you think Jim Carrey was when he made this movie? Brandon, you can start.
When can Adam participate?
Yeah.
No, right? Or if you want to ask Adam, you can use a
There you go.
lifeline.
You can phone a friend. Yeah,
Okay.
you have to find one Adam you can use.
Adam and I are gonna say 32.
There you
Okay.
go. Yeah, I'm gonna go with 30. Slightly
Okay.
undercut, but
He was 32.
hey,
So,
look at that.
you and Adam.
Spot on.
Nailed it.
All right.
That is true. He's got a handicap there. He gets an extra player on his team, so
Yeah.
that's not fair.
And then, how old do you think Courtney Cox was?
Maybe she was saying Adam in the sense of like all matter is made up of atoms, you know?
Yeah.
Like she was
Yes.
just talking to like you as a
What did
being-
you think, my Adam?
yeah collection of atoms.
Collection of it, yeah. Okay, so Courtney Cox. I'm gonna just 30.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I forgot we had more of these.
This can
I
be the
don't know.
last one.
I don't know. She's probably like, yeah, she's got to be over 30. Yeah, I'm gonna say like 30. I'll say 32.
She was 30.
Oh, look at that.
Yep. So good job, Brandon and Adam win
There
again.
you go.
Yes.
And
I'm
if
gonna
you,
I'm gonna put that in the liner notes for this.
Yeah.
With guest Brandon and Adam.
and just in case people want to know, Sean Young, who played Einhorner, was 36. So
Okay. Yeah, she did seem a little
little
older, but no.
well, she was in Stripes, and that was quite a bit of
Yeah,
time before this.
and I feel like I remember her being pretty young in that too.
Yes.
Like, yeah. All right. So that's the end of that. That's the ages
it.
bit. All right. We want to truck right along to the last game here.
Sheila, I want to go buy a new e-cig.
Neat. Just give up on it in your home. It's just somewhere in the house. You go buy a new one. It's disposable.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I have a couple extra, but the only e-cig juice cartridge that I had was in that one. So fuck my life.
Gross. All right. It is time to play a game that has another theme song. Here we go.
I think it's time we stop. Children, what's that sound?
Coming in hot.
Do you hear what I hear? What's that sound? Do you hear what I hear? What's that sound?
Bing bong bing.
Bing bong, bing bong.
All right. It is time for us to play What's That Sound? In this game, I take a sound from this movie and I play it for you. And you have to tell me what's happening on screen while the sound is happening. In this particular movie, I only pulled 2 sounds. There was just a lot of nonsense and a lot of crazy noises happening. So I picked ones that I thought were maybe gettable, and we'll see how it goes. All right, so here is sound number 1, Brandon. All right, that is sound number 1. If you'd like, I can play it again.
Yeah, do it one more time.
Sure.
It's him kicking the box around at the beginning of this. At the beginning of the movie.
Yep, that's Ace delivering a package for sure. Yeah.
Sounds broken.
Sounds like it's broken.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
Most likely, sir.
Most likely, sir.
Most likely.
All right, so that was sound number 1. Nice job. Way to go. Mandy, you would have had that one too. I could tell, right? Yeah.
Can I pet your dog? I don't give a rat's ass. Alrighty then.
Love it. All right, here is sound. Yeah, I should have just played that. That's the next sound. Yeah. Right.
That's how we should end all of our clips or all of our episodes.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
Uh-oh.
Okay. I can do it.
Was that it?
Yep.
Yeah, it went quiet, so it made you think like it was like cutting out. It wasn't. It gets quiet and then it gets loud again.
Yep. All right. I'll play it one more. Oh,
I think I know what it is.
Okay.
I think it's when Jim Carrey tries to get into his apartment with his keys.
It is. Yeah.
Yes.
He's trying to start his front door, I guess.
Hello there, Satan.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I thought you were someone else.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yes,
all right.
Mr. Chickadance.
There's 2 for 2. There you go, man. 100% batting 1,000. I don't know. I'm trying to do.
Yeah, no, that's good. Nice job. Nice sports ball reference right now.
That's right. All right. I do have one more clip other than the one that I'm going to end on. And it goes like, this is just for, this is not a part of the game. The game is over. Yay, we did it. All right, here we go.
Einhorn is Finkel. Finkel is Einhorn. Einhorn is a man.
The music.
Oh my God!
And then just a big problematic goes across the screen. Like, ugh. It's not like they've lived together forever. You know what I mean? He just can't. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, it looked like he enjoyed the kiss. So who cares?
For sure.
Yeah.
And he said down boy after they were done. So,
like, okay.
He's got his own issues.
How would you react if you thought someone was a woman, you guys kissed for like 30 seconds, and then you moved on, and then you found out that it was a man? How would you feel? Would you be grossed out? Would you throw up? Would you be like, whatever?
I wouldn't throw up. No. I would have been like, okay.
There'd be
and then that would have been it.
So
I know, right?
It would have bounced between a feeling of like deception and pride for me.
Yeah.
I'd be like, yeah, so I still got somebody to kiss me in the world. You know what I mean? Like that means you're still laying down some game, you know what I mean?
I know.
Otherwise there'd be like, I wasn't what I was expecting, but
Oh, hey, everybody
entered the room.
Amazing!
Yay!
Woo! Yay! We're all cheering for you, Mark.
Way to go, Adam. All right.
Yeah, right. I would feel like deceived, but yeah, especially okay, so I'm not gonna lie, during COVID, one of the best features I have is my teeth, and I have to wear a mask all the time. When I go outside, so there's just nothing but my glasses and then my body, and I feel really bad. Not gonna lie,
you'd be okay with anyone just walking up and laying some mat down on you?
Just
any sort of attention. There you go. Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I would just be humble. I would be like, thank you, but no thank you. You know what I mean?
Yes, exactly.
I appreciate the offer, but
so this movie just it just makes you realize how far we've come, just from being completely
in 1994.
Oh yeah,
I would have thrown up and curled up in a ball, and
I would have cried.
Shower, and
you would have taken a plunger to your face.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because that's somehow better than getting a man kiss.
And then just imagine where that plunger has been.
Yeah.
I know.
And what it's been doing in the past.
And it's so much worse than kissing a man. Okay, would you rather kiss a plunger or kiss another man? Like that's, I mean, there we go.
I would kiss
Again,
another
in
dude
1994,
straight up.
I don't know. Who's watching? Who's with me? I don't know.
One more thing too, like I would like to commend Jim Carrey when he's chasing after the giant football player on the track.
Yeah.
And he has, I mean, that scene, I really felt like the guy did not know that he was going to do that. And like, just like, was like
the chloroform scene there.
Yes.
And he's still wearing his weird tight pants and stupid shoes and everything. Yeah.
And he's like, and he was running. He's like, and then he like puts, and then he just barely tosses it. Like I just, the whole time I'm like, he's fairly athletic.
Yeah.
You know, for a guy that's all big teeth, kind of gangly.
Yeah.
We keep referencing other movies that are not the right one. I love it. Yeah,
right,
so I guess we're pretty much to the end of this nonsense. Any final thoughts? Anything we missed, Brandon, that you want to talk about?
Okay, so I saw that Jim Carrey had a pager.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever have pagers?
Not a one, man.
Or I mean, we're about the same age, so
Sure.
I mean, it really.
I had a brick Nokia. One of the
the ones that you could like
mini,
walkie-talkie.
Yeah, no. One of the mini antenna pulls out the thing, and it like the recta. You could play Snake on it. That's all you could do with it. That's
my gosh, that's funny.
That was my first experience in cellular phonage.
I didn't have a pager, but a lot of my friends did.
Yeah.
So
Drug dealers.
I would yeah. And I wasn't allowed to have calls after 9. So what I would do is I would page them, and then I would call either M89 Cinema or call Time. And then I would just have to sit there and wait for call waiting to click so that I could click over and talk to them.
Super sleuth.
So yeah, so it really sucks when you paged your friend and like either they didn't hear it or they like couldn't call you right away because I'm just sitting there listening to the same like 5 movies at M89 Cinema.
Yeah.
And I just so you know, this is how they said it. Beverly Hills Chihuahua. I have heard that word said so many times in my life. I'm like, it's Beverly Hills Chihuahua, but they're like Beverly Hills Chihuahua. And now I literally, like, when I see it on like Netflix or something, that's what I say in my head. And I'm like, oh,
yeah,
it's awful.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. How about you, man? You go with a pager?
I did not. I wanted one because I saw everybody else older than me. I'm like, man, I'm going to have one of those. Or one of those like Nextel like beeper walkie-talkie ones. I was like, man, that's like the
Direct
shit. I'm going to get me one of those.
I hated those.
I had those.
I wanted a Razor, one of those Razor.
I had a
phones.
Razor. I had a Razor phone. That was
and then I wanted a BlackBerry.
Okay.
So did you have all these in succession, or did you just go from
I
nothing?
never had any of them.
What was your first cell phone?
My first cell phone was
iPhone 5.
It was yeah, right. No, it was a Virgin Mobile like small little brick thing.
Sure.
Again, you could play Snake on it.
Yep.
Couldn't even text.
Yep.
So.
Yeah,
I
had the Nokia, and then I had the Razor, and then from the Razor I had one of those like Pebble phones that slid sideways. It slid open for a keyboard on it, and I had that for a minute. My wife and I both had the same phone, and one of our phones, the battery just like melted out of itself, so we had to keep like. We couldn't charge it. That's the issue. We had to charge the battery in one of the phones. So you know what I mean? Like we'd have to charge a battery to full, put it in the other phone, then put the other battery back in that original one and charge it to full, so we could both have functioning phones for a while.
Oh my god!
Because we didn't want to pay for an extra phone.
Yeah.
And right now, I'm proud to say we are currently out of contract. We finally paid off our iPhones, so we're
congrats.
We're
nice
running
work.
this. Clean one owner, man. This is paid off, right? So that's exciting.
I had the Nextel, like the Nextel phone.
I hated them.
Like,
I hated hearing both sides of a conversation.
Oh yeah.
Unacceptable.
But the thing is like I had that for so long. I had the same phone from when I was like 16 until.
Do you think there's still holdouts? Like, are there still guys out there like contractors? Because that's who it was supposed to be. Like all the phones that had that feature were like yellow and made of rubber and like humongous and like had a weird holster that you could.
Mine was yellow, and I swear to God, like I had driven away with that phone on the roof of my car and watched it get run over by other cars, and like picked it up and been like, "Dad, can you hear me?" Like it was amazing. Now, like my God, my daughter had my phone. She's only less than 4 feet tall. She dropped it from like 2.5 feet, and there's this crack in the screen. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
That's what I always tell people if they're thinking about maybe wanting to have kids. Just get like a current generation smartphone with no case for like a week, and then see how
Right.
you feel afterward.
Yep.
You have to protect it no matter what, everywhere you go.
Exactly. That is brilliant. No, when I
wondering.
was in, I had it from when I was like 16 to 20, and like I lived in California where like everyone had like better technology and like
Right.
it was all about like how small the phones are. And my phone was so huge, like whenever I would pull it out, like people were like, "Oh my gosh, do you see what she has?" And like I knew when I forgot my phone because I'd lift up my purse and be like, "Oh yeah, that's way too fucking light."
Right. But no, like I never had like a Zach Morris phone or any of those nonsense. Like I didn't have anything that had like the metal
wire.
antenna that you had to like pull out in multiple stages antenna. Not that nonsense, but it was the same way
Sorry,
with
go
like
ahead.
video game consoles. I went from a Nintendo, like a standard, just regular Nintendo, for nothing up until the PlayStation. It was just like, I'm just going. And it's not like I'm playing old school because that's the way I live my life. It's just like, this is all I got. This is
Oh
what
my
I
gosh.
get. And
Yeah, but Super Nintendo had the Mario with the pills, the Dr. Mario.
Dr. Mario never played, or never got to play. I never owned I own one now. Like I went back and bought them now because now I can, but like I skipped every generation of video games up until the PlayStation. It's exciting. Yeah.
Oh, well, you guys have
Kind
heard
of a
a lot
loser.
of our lives.
All right. Will you watch this movie again, Brandon?
Probably.
All
Now
right.
that I've seen it again and it, came back to my mind, I'll probably check out the second one next, and then I'll probably go back to it in a little bit.
You gonna check out Ace Ventura: Pet Detective Jr.?
I mean, I might in the cartoon. I
Yeah,
might have to check those out.
I'd say the cartoon's worth at least a gander. I can't imagine that Junior movie is anything worth looking into, but
Well,
Probably
and
not.
didn't they do like a Mask Junior, and then the dog
did.
had the mask?
Yeah.
And I know the kid version of it. I think it's like Ace when he's a kid, but he's like, it's like a little chubby kid. It's weird.
Are you sure it's not his son?
Maybe, I don't know. Well, I know like the Mask one was the Son of the Mask.
The Son of the Mask, yeah.
Was the Mask sequel, and that was Jamie Kennedy, wasn't it? I think
Maybe.
Jamie Kennedy was the Son of the Mask. I don't know.
Oh my gosh, you're kidding me. That blows my mind right now.
That guy's weird. Anyway.
I think he's great.
Yeah.
Don't go in there, Jamie. Behind you. All right.
I'll be right back.
No, wrong person.
Yeah, I know. It's a different movie. Whatever. Courtney Cox, though. Hey, look at that. It all comes back around. Look at that. All right. So let's do some plugs or anything at all. Brandon, is there anything in the world that you either want people to be pointed toward or something you're enjoying in real life that you think other people might also enjoy? Or do you have any like legit actual plugs? We only say that because if you're listening to this, in the distant future, we are currently in the middle of a lockdown or re-lockdown or continued lockdown or whatever the hell you want to call it. I guess like Texas is now like rolling back and being like, oops, whoa, doggies. Let's backpedal a bit here and shut our bars back down. So, but anyhow, what do you got?
Nothing, honestly. I mean, obviously, some places are starting to open back up and do outside comedy, so it'd be nice to get back in there. Hop on a mic here and there.
Would you do it though? Like, do you feel like you're like secure enough that you would feel comfortable like going out if people kind of stayed
I think
away,
I mean, I probably wouldn't. I might go do my time and then leave. I might not stick around.
After seeing JB Whiskey's, whiskey, the setup they had for it, I would go there and watch. Like I wish I had gone to their first one. They just had one on Thursday. And I didn't realize what it was. I legit thought it was going to be like standing out on the back deck of a bar and just like into the grass talking. But this had like a full on like outdoor stage and like seating.
It looked huge.
Yeah.
It looked pretty good.
Obviously everything was, 6 feet or more apart and people were kind of staggered seating. And so I would have enjoyed at least attending to see how it felt and like what it looked like. I don't know that I would have committed to like going up on stage or being in front of people or anything, but
right.
I think that's my first step. Maybe I'll go to Grins or something one of these times and just kind of hang out in the back and see what happens.
I mean, who the hell knows what's going to happen in like the next 2 weeks? Like, you know what I mean? Like here, I feel like we're probably doing better than most people, which it took us a really long time because we used to be like the third worst.
Yeah, but we're still, I still get squirrely looks or, people are still getting looks outside for doing things or going places. And when anyone like forgets a mask, it's like the worst ever, but Or,
Yeah.
but like for me, I go into like a local place in town wearing a mask, and people look at me like I'm an idiot. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're not.
exactly.
What? Are you scared? You're
Yeah.
not a man.
get out of here, boy. You scared?
And Matt, that's probably because of the towns that we live in.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Well, maybe most of them will die, and then we can start over fresh.
Right?
I don't know.
They can take their flag. They can take their flags with them.
There you go.
There you go.
There's one just down the street from me, like 3 or 4 houses down the block, just out proud, and it's one of those like
of course
half Confederate, half actual
American?
winter flag, you know. And I just want to firebomb it every day, but you know, here we are being civil people in the world. So.
Yeah.
Yeah,
all right.
that's crazy.
Well,
do you have Brandon? But did you give any of your plugs, like your social media plugs or anything? That you have?
Everything is at Brandon Alberda. Twitter and Instagram at Brandon Alberda. You can find me on Facebook if you search Brandon Alberta Comic. I tried TikTok for a hot minute, and then my 14-year-old niece decided to say, "You are too old," and so I'm not doing that anymore.
There you go. Take the advice, I guess. Yeah.
Yep.
Mandy. Anything?
Yeah, I have no social media, but my sister sent me a link to a TikTok of construction workers redoing the Sister Act of like the singing at the very end, and like there's like a chubby one that is like the sister, the chubby sister.
Mary
oh my
Margaret,
gosh,
whatever.
Yeah, it is amazing.
So go find that. Go find construction workers doing Sister Act.
Yes, it is like complete. I watched it like 4 times. It was hilarious.
Nice. All right. For me, you can just reach out to the show. You can email the show at anotherepisodepodcast@gmail.com. You can go on to Instagram and find us there at Another Episode Podcast. That is where we post the reconfigured posters for the movies that we're dealing with. We try to cram the people's faces onto the existing poster to make it more fun for the guests and get people to stop in and take a look at what we're doing the following week. So on Sunday, we post the poster for that Wednesday's episode, so you have a few days ahead of time. You can watch the movie and join us for the fun. Otherwise, we don't know how to end these damn things, so we play a clip to get out of it at the end. And today, the clip sounds like this.
If I'm not back in 5 minutes, just wait longer.
That's it.
Awesome.
All right. Nice. Thanks, guys. Thanks for doing the show again, Brandon.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bye.